In this podcast episode, we're going to talk about how to reduce fear, worry, anxiety, and all the things that kind of plague you as you climb towards success in life. I know for me specifically, I've definitely dealt with uh, a bunch of these things as I climb for better career success, financial success, relationship success, and so forth, health and fitness success too. And I think the thing with me is it's useful to plan for the future and stuff like that, but sometimes uh, one can just worry or beat themselves up too much. Um, whether it's because I feel like time's running out, or I feel like I'm not where I want to be at a certain point in time, or I have no strong direction on how I'm going to make it there. Those things can affect me. And I think I want to talk about how you can just kind of remove that, or at least eliminate enough of it so that you're still effective. So, one big point is that, like, why do you need all of this stuff to begin with? Oftentimes, I've noticed people in like that I've talked to, even in person in like personal finance meetups or just general meetups. I went to a Stoicism meetup, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, if I get $3 million net worth, I'll be happy." And then one guy was like, "Oh, I'm extra. I need 5 million." And that's fine to a degree, but it's really important to ask yourself, why do you need that much, and whether or not that's just an arbitrary number you made up. And I think Tim Ferriss's book 4 Hour Work Week does a great job with this, because it actually works through the math to find out exactly what you actually need to live your dream life. And what you find is that it's oftentimes a lot lower than you think. So that's one of the radical shifts in mindset that the book, The 4 Hour Work Week, brings out. For him, I think he ultimately found he only needed like $5,000 a month, because all the like exotic things he wanted to do, like jet ski in Spain or whatever, you can actually do for pretty cheap in these countries, because they have a lower cost of living. So I'm not saying that you need to drop to like 5,000 a month if your dreams are 5 million in net worth. But I think some of these people just don't really think it through, and so they're beating themselves up over a arbitrary number that actually has little correlation to what they need to live their dream life. I think another thing is being sick. Being sick is like one of the best ways to just kind of reset yourself and help you focus on the right things. Recently I was pretty sick, fever, headache, stomach pains, and so forth. And all of a sudden, like my body, my mind just prioritized my own health and well being. And all the other things that I worried about or did just kind of disappeared. Like I was not concerned about them because they became lesser priorities. Sometimes they were kind of stupid stuff. Like sometimes at night, I didn't want to go to sleep yet, so I would surf my phone and go through every app to see if there's like something I still needed to do or could benefit from, which usually resulted in like 30 minutes or more of just browsing random apps, only to find that I didn't really need to browse them. That's definitely a common thing that I'm trying to break as a habit. So, of course, stuff like that just disappeared. Like, I just needed to get my good sleep. And then other things like, I would worry about, oh, I need to be more social. I need to go meet people. Which meetup event should I attend today? Oh, there's very few events today. What should I do? Those things, while important to a degree, uh, just became less relevant because of my sickness. I was like, I'm staying home. I need to rest and get better. Now, of course, I think it's good to go out and be social on occasion, but I think to a degree I was kind of over worrying about that and stressing about that, and all sorts of worries and anxieties came to. Oh, I'm thinking about this event, but it's kind of more of like in a environment that is for extroverts. I don't know if I'd be comfortable there. Should I still go? So all this stuff that I worried about just disappeared. And so it's kind of funny, but you don't have to force yourself to be sick. But I think if you imagine how you would reprioritize when you're sick, it could potentially help you. Because ultimately, I found that, what do I really need? I mean, when I'm sick, I just need some sleep, some good food, digestible food, like soft, simple food, like applesauce, oatmeal, stuff like that, chicken noodle soup, healthy foods. So it also like reprioritized how I ate to a more healthy direction. And so, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just a simple reset into like, hey, you're not doing so bad. You have a roof over your head. You can sleep. You can rest. You can eat healthier. You have the free time to rest and recover. And that's all you really need. I think, especially in the personal development world, you can get so caught up in obtaining a certain amount of money somehow, or doing really well at your job, or saving and investing your money, or doing well in your career, getting a raise, or starting a side hustle that turns into a business, or building a social media presence that is large and successful, or on and on and on. Or looking super shredded or muscular, or so on and so forth. And well, I think that doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to be better in life if you think you'll benefit from it. I don't think that all the anxieties and stuff should turn to a point where you're overly stressed or anxious and they no longer serve you. So yeah, I just want to conclude with like a quote I heard from the Dalai Lama a while ago. I think this was in his book. I think the book was called something like the Book of Peace or something. But it was basically a book he collaborated writing with Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And the quote was basically that anxiety occurs because people set expectations that are too high for themselves. And when they can't meet these expectations, that causes anxiety. And so I'm not saying the Dalai Lama is the end-all be-all of advice on this, but I think it is worth mentioning because there's all sorts of different schools of thoughts on this that I've encountered in life with classmates and stuff like that. You have the overachieving classmate who always sets these ridiculous high expectations. This person has to be in one of the top internships in the country. This person has to get straight A's and get into MIT. And their school of thought is basically, if you don't hit these, you still do well, but also you want to almost kill yourself to achieve these because that's what's awesome. You want to achieve these grand goals. And I think that causes a lot of stress and issues if you don't, especially if you're trying your hardest and you don't come close. Like not everyone is going to be like this classmate archetype who's just a genius or very talented with their work ethic or studying or whatnot. So I think the best approach is really to set your expectations low, but strive for something great. Thereby, what you're doing is, if you don't meet these goals, you're not disappointed because every day is a good day as long as you have health and a roof over your head. But at the same time, if you do strive for something greater, you aren't complacent or too chill, and you continue to aim towards great things, which increases your chances of hitting them. So that becomes a nice bonus rather than this ball of anxiety and stress and beating yourself up. So Yeah, that's all I want to say. I'm trying to reduce these podcasts where I just ramble on and repeat the same thing over and over. So I'm going to end it here and hope you enjoyed.